It's the scariest damn night of the year.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2012 horror remake Silent Night. The film is directed by Stephen C. Miller and it stars Malcolm McDowell, Jamie King and Donald Logue. Right, okay, this is a loose remake of the 1984 classic Christmas horror Silent Night, Deadly Night, a film that I reviewed very recently on the channel. And it follows like a Midwestern American town that has to deal with a homicidal Santa Claus that is targeting the locals who it deems to have been naughty, these locals. So it's up to the local police department run by Malcolm McDowell's character, Sheriff Cooper. We have Jamie King's Aubrey, who is one of the deputies at the police station, and they're both trying desperately to take down this killer Santa. Right, what are my thoughts on Silent Night? Well, as if you've watched one of my most recent reviews, depending on when I put it up, of Silent Night, Deadly Night, that was the first time watch for me. I'd never seen that film before. And then doing a bit of research on the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise, I learned of this film. Now, initially when I first looked at it, I thought, I'm sure I've seen that film and reviewed it on the channel, but I haven't. And I didn't recognise it when I watched the film. And it is, as I've said a couple of times, it is really a loose remake of the 1984 film. It is not like a beat-for-beat remake or in any way. It just kind of shares a little bit of the DNA. The killer is different. We don't even learn who the killer is in this film. Not really. He stays masked throughout. And in some ways, that works better because he's actually a little bit more sinister because you don't really know his motivations for the most part here. So there's a little bit of a different story with the Santa here. Apparently there is this urban legend that there is a killer Santa Claus that every year chooses a different American town and goes on a killing spree due to something that happened to him a good few years ago. Happened to his family, sorry, a good few years ago. So, I mean, it's a little bit similar to the Billy story, but not really. It's significantly different, I think, in a lot of ways. And other than that, the only similarities really is some of the same kills we get here. We get the kill with the lady being put on like the stag's horns or reindeer, whatever it is. We get somebody being put through like a tree shredder. Now, I know that wasn't in the original, but my understanding is that kill turns up in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, or at least one of the sequels, and I haven't seen all the sequels yet. And there's some other kills as well here that kind of share similarities from the first one. So it's definitely tipping its hat towards the first one. It's definitely paying its respects to the original, but it's also at the same time trying to be its own entity and its own thing, which is absolutely fine. To be quite honest, I quite enjoyed this. I didn't think it was a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it had some good moments, some very graphic kills here and there. And I thought Jamie King made quite a compelling lead character here. She's a solid actress, and she kind of, holds the film up quite well on her shoulders and carries it really quite well. I thought she was very good here. Malcolm McDowell, obviously mega reliable as an actor. And while I have always enjoyed Malcolm McDowell and his performances, his character in this film was a bit of an egotistical arse. He reminded me a bit of how he portrayed Dr. Loomis in Halloween 2. This, again, egotistical arse, I suppose. So, yeah, I didn't enjoy his character, but I enjoyed Jamie King's character. And there were a couple of other recognisable faces here in the film that you'll see that are meant to kind of be red herrings, really. So I like the mystery of the film. I like the mystery of who this Killer Santa is. It's not as clear cut as the first one. I like the addition of like the Santa mask sort of thing. It made the Santa look a little bit more sinister. The film had good mystery with it. The film had a couple of interesting red herrings that I thought were quite good, and it's incredibly violent at times as well. The film, and you could argue mean-spirited as well, I suppose. But I mean, it's meant to be like a Christmas slasher. It's not going to be a barrel of laughs, is it? It's not meant to be, and it doesn't. It doesn't inject any kind of lightness into this at all. It's again similar to the original. There's a darkness to the film. You know what I mean? It's actually quite, as I've mentioned, violent, and there's some quite brutal deaths that are going on in this film, and people being killed that you kind of question why is he doing that. I mean, he even kills a child in this one. I just remembered that. You know what I mean? And I think it was one of his first kills as well. And you're kind of like, oh, right, okay, you're setting up your stall here. I get it now, okay. I mean, the logistics of it are bollocks, really. There's all these people around town getting these packages. And in these Christmas packages is a lump of coal. And that's basically this maniacal Santa targeting them, saying, you're the ones that I'm coming for. Well, how does he know? Does he spend a whole 12 months researching a town before he kind of, sets himself loose on them on Christmas Eve? I mean, if you think about it too much, it's utter twaddle, really. The reasonings behind him choosing towns and this kind of stuff, if you put too much thought into it, it's a house of cards, it falls to pieces. So your best bet is just not really to put a great deal of thought into it. But yeah, I mean, much like the original, while this isn't elevated to anything special or memorable or anything like that, it's a solid, loose remake that does manage to stand on its own 2 feet. I enjoyed it quite a lot. There was definitely some memorable moments in it. But it's also at the same time not something that you would regard as essential viewing either at the same time. So yeah, I'm glad I checked it out. Looking forward to checking out the brand new remake that is just out at the cinema now of Silent Night, Deadly Night. I've seen some early reviews for that, and it seems to be getting some positive feedback, so I'll be enjoying checking that out. Let me know your thoughts on this film, the franchise in general, and I will see you back on the channel with plenty more content very, very soon.